Jamestown Community Baseball Limited Liability Company is the actual entity. We were able to get this opportunity to become part of the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League really through the beneficence of ROC, R-O-C, which is Mike Zimmerman. Mike Zimmerman was the owner of the Jamestown Jammers. In 2018, he informed our mayor, Sam Teresi, who was unable to be here today because he's picking up his child, that they were not going to be, they were going to contract and put all of their teams in the Midwest. Jamestown, New York didn't fit the same definition of Indiana, Illinois, and Wisconsin. So through discussions with ROC, they agreed to give us the franchise if we created a community group. So enter Jamestown Community Baseball LLC. We have 30 plus investors in that group and other supporters in other ways other than financial. And it's been a remarkable model, and there's probably room for one or two more if you know of anybody that's interested. But as part and parcel of ROC, the guy who delivered the message and who is now working for ROC is Anthony Barone. Anthony Barone was our manager for 4 years of the Jamestown Jammers. Is last year he won all the marbles, the 2018 Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League champions. And then he got sucked up by the Milwaukee group, ROC. He went over there and worked with the Milwaukee Milkmen. This past year, he was the manager of the Milwaukee Milkmen and in the American Association. And Anthony, why don't you start coming down? And therefore, the manager in his inaugural year in that organized baseball, and as would have it, there were only 2 organized leagues, the major leagues, and prior to that was his league. And the first game of that league was one where Milwaukee Milkmen played Chicago, and the manager on the other side was a guy who you probably have heard of, Butch Hobson. So that's the kind of Anthony Barone. And I'll let him talk about maybe a little bit of Jamestown, but more importantly, what happened. Give us the rest of the story. Come on.
It's good to see everybody. Thanks for having me here, Greg. Me and Greg caught up yesterday and sort of talked about my experience this past year. But first, thank you to everybody here in Jamestown baseball. Sort of full circle, I see Paul Lombardo up there, Coach Lombardo. I remember when I was just a little freshman, undersized, back at Jamestown High School, just trying to make the JV team and the varsity team and different things, and how Jordan Bazile talked about me recruiting him at JCC and George Sisson up there, and all the group of people here that have meant so much to baseball in this community. Now I'm not currently here, but like Greg said, from 2015 to 2018, I managed the Jammers. Got better every year, and that was sort of my goal. Wanted to continue baseball after 2014 when the city lost the team. Just wanted to make sure to persevere through some tough times, and I think we did that, and we left it in good hands with you guys. And I know Mike Zimmerman was really happy when he donated the franchise and left it to a group of people that cared about baseball. And being from here, being so romantic about the game, I think we always talk about that. It's baseball's different than any other sport, and it's something that's so special to me. My wife's here, and she's been sort of through that journey with me these last 5 years. So this year was it was definitely, I was sitting home March through April, my first professional managerial experience. I got hired back in September after last year being the hitting coach out in Milwaukee, and I sort of sat there not knowing what was going to happen, and finally got the call, I think June 1st, that we were going to have a season. We were the first professional sports league to make the decision we were going to have a season. And not only did we were going to have a season, we were going to actually have fans. And the American Association is spread out through the Midwest, through Wisconsin, South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, Canada. But long story, but our first game was actually against the Chicago Dogs, and one of my favorite teams growing up was the Boston Red Sox. And what was neat as I look over at the other dugout, it's Butch Hobson, who managed in the big leagues for 3 years with the Red Sox. So it all comes full circle. Like I said, baseball is so unique, where I'm a little kid growing up, and I'm watching the Red Sox, and I see Butch Hobson managing the Red Sox, and now I'm actually going to be managing against him, trying to beat him. So it was just a great season, great experience. I did get to manage through a pandemic. Our first week of the season, the New York Times was there, sort of doing a whole thing on our the American Association, how we were going to go through with this season. And there was a couple, hiccups in the road. My wife was nervous the whole time I was out there, and making sure I was safe and different things. But at the end of the season, we made it through. We had we had a couple guys that got sick, but overall we just tried to protect everybody, keep everybody safe. And I think we proved to the country that we can do it. We can have baseball and we can have fans. And there's nothing better than coming back to Jamestown and seeing you guys so dedicated to making sure this continues. Because without Jamestown, without me managing from 2015 to 2018, there's no way I'm where I'm at. And a lot of it has to do with the people that care about the game here. And I'm just, as long as the same people continue to do what they're doing, Jamestown baseball is going to be in good hands. And I know Jordan's doing a great job with, I know we've talked a couple times, numerous times, about what works, what doesn't work. But the biggest thing is making sure the community really cares about the game. And no, we're not the biggest city. We don't have maybe the newest ballpark, but I always say it. Whenever you walk into Dietrich Park, there's something different. And I've been in a lot of nice stadiums now, and we played a brand new $30 million facility. But when you walk into Dietrich Park, there's something different. And Russ would, and he's Mr. Baseball of Jamestown, and it's, it starts with him, and making sure the ballpark was always in good shape. And but yeah, and I wish Mayor Teresi was here too, because I can remember back in 2015, he was the guy that sort of pushed for me to get the job, and he wanted me to go interview. He talked to Mike Zimmerman and Dan Kinsey out in Wisconsin. I was out of baseball for 1 year in the last 21 years of my life, and he let them know that I was currently not coaching, and he got me hooked up with an interview. So I owe Mayor Teresi quite a bit too. And he always made sure we had everything we needed as far as the ballpark and renovations. In 2015, I know we got the home clubhouse redone. Just the little things that he cared about, and I know the city cares about baseball so much. So it's really neat how the book has been brought about, and it can sort of create memories for everybody. I remember when I was young going to see the Jamestown Expos with Marquise Grissom was one of my favorite players, watching him play, Delino DeShields when he was playing, just to see the different things. And like Greg mentioned, in my 4 years, we had 24 guys signed professional, 24 guys signed get drafted in the Major League Draft. So, and I'm following those guys currently. And one of those guys actually that I managed here is playing for me now. Chris Conley, who was the 2017 Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball Player of the Year, he's with me in Milwaukee. So, like I said, it just comes full circle, and I think that's what baseball does compared to most sports. You just do it, and the passion for the game. So, yeah, and this year ended up with a championship, and really proud of the guys that I managed and my coaching staff, and my family back home for supporting me. That that it's not easy to stay in the game as long as I've stayed in the game without a supportive wife and children, and there's a lot of months you're not around. So it's all worth it though at the end.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Not bad. Right now, to this point, take a snapshot. The only champion of an organized baseball league in 2020, the manager's Anthony Barone, native of Jamestown, New York. Guys, you got all that? Got that? Huh? Oh, cool.